And we're live. Tonight on the MnR Live TV show, we present to you author Fritz Springmeier, author of 13 Bloodlines of the Illuminati. And he has a whole new world of information to tell us. He's been like one of our most popular guests around. We love having him around. And at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, he will join us to talk about the 13 Bloodlines and a whole world of information. But before we even get to that, my co-host, the madman from Montreal, Mario, the coffee man, madman, yeah, that's it. Whatever. I didn't say a word.
Don't. I'm glad you didn't fall in the trap, because that's a trap that once you get in, you never come out. You know how it is.
Exactly.
On my way from this beautiful coffee that I have, I came up with a lot of ideas for the show. And I also came up with a lot of good news topics, because you know me, I just keep listening to stuff and wondering how come everything happens, and everything happens for a reason, and why we're here. So tonight's show, that's what we're going to be talking about, right?
Yes.
So Rob, how was your week? Was it interesting?
My week was interesting. Monday I had a social day, but since then it's been looking up, and yeah, that's it, you know. Unfortunately, I'm going to be doing more servitude.
Yeah, I know you are, because Les Canadiens, your hockey team, are still in the hunt for the Stanley Cup, which they are going to win the Stanley Cup.
No, not this year, because our all-star goaler injured. But that's not the reason I'm going to bring more servitude, because I'm going to be getting a new TV, a new Blu-ray and everything, so I'm going to be doing a lot of servitude, just watching movies and stuff.
But you realize, Rob, yeah, okay, go ahead, show that.
Like, look at this Blu-ray right here, okay, so you buy a Blu-ray, right? Wolverine, last year's movie, you know, because I never bought a Blu-ray, so I said I might as well watch something that I love. Wolverine, everybody knows I love the Wolverine, the X-Man, and we've done a video about that a couple of years ago for you folks that never seen it. Anyhow, folks, look at this. You buy this DVD, whatever you want to, well, Blu-ray. Over here you see Blu-ray 3D. Okay, Blu-ray 3D. The next one, Blu-ray. Okay, that's a regular Blu-ray. This one, extended cut Blu-ray, whatever this means. And finally here you have the DVD plus digital copy. Like about 5 different types of ways you can watch it. But I don't know if I could watch Blu-ray 3D, because I didn't buy a 3D TV, or the glasses. But we'll see what happens. But I have the Blu-ray player 3D, which the
But now, Rob, hold on here. Okay, let me just run this by you one more time. Okay.
Go ahead.
VHS, when it came out, we went all out. We bought every one that was in the store, like cassettes. Yeah, like you probably threw yours out a couple.
Yeah, I got rid of my VCR and the video cassettes.
DVD.
But I had tons of them.
You what?
I had tons of VHS.
And what did you do with all of them?
It went to less scrap.
Well, that's what's going to happen with that, what you're just holding in your hand. In a couple of years, you're going to have to wind up throwing it. Because technology, we're living in...
I'm not going to be buying much DVDs or CDs, DVDs, Blu-ray, because I'd rather stream them or something. It's better, you know? Like Blu-ray, you know, look, Blu-ray 3D, Blu-ray, extended cut, and DVD and digital copy. Now, they're probably going to come up with something even better than Blu-ray 3D, you know, in a couple of years. But my point to all of this is you don't, no longer do you buy a movie, you're buying different types of copies for different movie, the same movie. Isn't it, like, odd?
Yeah, because they want to cater for everybody, not just one person that has one Blu-ray. They want to cater to someone that has, if like a person doesn't have a Blu-ray, well,
you can watch
they can get the DVD. But you know why they also put that Blu-ray in there?
Which one? The 3D or the regular?
The regular. For the person to say, oh, I have a DVD player, but now I want to get a Blu-ray. So now, because I have a disc over here, which by all means costs more than the DVD player. Because the DVD player, you can throw it out and get a new one, but the discs are always gonna stay there.
But you know what I probably won't be able to watch this Blu-ray 3D. That's the sad part. But I'm gonna put it in and see what happens anyways.
There you go. You see what you just said there. See the conspiracy behind that. The conspiracy is now you're saying, but now I have this. See this Blu-ray that plays 3D, but I can't use it. So now I have to see if I can invest in a Blu-ray player so I can watch this. I mean a 3D player so I can watch.
I need a 3D TV. I don't have a 3D TV. So I don't know.
Oh, that's why they're trying to fish you into the new technology.
Exactly. That's my point. They think like just because of this disc I'm gonna be wanting to watch 3D, but
there are people out there that do it though.
To tell you the truth, I don't even enjoy watching 3D TV. I mean, we went to the cinemas, the IMAX, and it's, you know, you see them coming towards you, but it's okay. But it's after a while, it gets to you. You know what I mean? Like when I went to see Spider-Man, you know, it's like the stuff comes flying towards you. It's all right, but it's not something that I need to die for. As long as I see good graphics to a certain degree and the story's good, what more can you want? You know, and the acting's good. And I'm talking in a basic script of a movie.
But anyhow, shall we get to the show, Rob? Because we just took up 7 minutes.
Talking about Blu-ray, DVDs, and TVs and everything. But yeah, so get to the show. This show's been brought to you by the Montreal Anti-Illuminati Task Force in collaboration with 12160.info. A great website, folks, that I love. I'm always on it, always searching information, and it's wonderful. Go ahead.
This is me. I'm going to be switching on over to the screen so you people can see what we're talking about, which is more important than seeing me. But you can get to hear me, which is, you know, it's okay. Okay, so here we go. Give me 1 second, Rob.
I shall.
Okay, so now this is what Robert was talking about, 12160. You got here the title, the description, the video, and Chatango, where you can ask questions to our guest Fritz, which is coming on in about a good 8:15.
Yes,
7:39. So you just if you bookmark this website, I highly recommend you do bookmark it. Then you just press refresh and you shall see this video. You just click play and you shall see us streaming the video live, which is a lot of fun. So people do bookmark this. And if you can't bookmark because you don't know where it is, no problem. I will get to that in a few seconds. The same works with our MNR Productions blog. It's the same principle, more or less. You have here the description, the title, the video. If you don't see it because you bookmarked this link, well, it's like I said, you just refresh and you hit play and it's right there. And here's the Chatango. And I love this site because it shows all the past shows from when we began, 2006. I have to repeat myself again because this is for the new people.
There's always new folks coming on the show.
And you're always welcome to come view us because you guys are the greatest for actually watching us and supporting us, because that's all we need as support, as viewers. So that's it. And this video, and by the way, this link always does appear underneath the video, so you can go and just hit the link and bookmark it too as well. You know, it's nice to keep it in a bookmark. And here's the beautiful Montreal in the background, because we are from Montreal. Yes, and we speak English here in Montreal. There are some Anglophones left. And that's it for the blog. Yes, Robert.
And that's us, the Anglophones.
Yeah, we're the
that language stuff. I'm sick of it.
Actually, we're allophones, Rob. We're not Anglophones. We're allophones. And last but not least, what's that word I'm looking for? Rob.
What word?
Anyways, forget about it. We're not here. We're not English teachers.
Okay, and here's the conspiracy talk on Facebook right here.
Last but not least, there you go. Last but not least, yes, this is our group on Facebook. You can add us, or I should say, you can request to join. Just go to it. It's the conspiracy talk with our beautiful picture. And here's tonight's show, or this evening's show. It always appears on there once you add or a request to join the show. I mean the show.
Once you request to join the conspiracy talk, then we add you, and as long as you're not a spammer or anything like that, then it's all good, and you can join the hottest conspiracy group on Facebook right now. It's just phenomenal. It's just like 31 new members just today. You know, it's just going on up and up and up, and I love it.
Yeah, that's what I like about this show. We're actually showing people the updates on this group. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That it's increasing every day. We always get new client.
And I'm so excited tonight to be getting Fritz Springmeier on. You know, I mean, my favorite subject, the 13. How many years have you been hearing about the 13 that I've been obsessed with?
All the time, Robert.
The 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati. Even my screensaver says 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati. I even have a T-shirt. I forgot to put it on because it's kind of sticky and muggy here tonight, but you know, so that's I'm not wearing it. But anyhow, go down.
So if you join this group, and by the way, we do have the same thing. It's a community on Google Plus. It's the same name. People are joining that like crazy. Where every day I go check and the numbers just go up. But now we'll focus on the Facebook group. You see, you just click here and it'll take you to the link on 120/160, and there's a lot of action that's been going on here. Like, for instance, this individual, I don't want to say her name, she might not want us to be on there.
The Empire of the City.
Yeah, I posted this a while ago on the picture, and then you got this where eBay is having problems logging in while hackers
and PayPal.
Yeah, well, they're together anyways.
Oh boy, I didn't change any passwords on my PayPal.
But hold on now. Is it worth it to change your name? I mean, your passwords?
I don't know. Well, I don't use PayPal much.
But Rob, you know how it is. They say, this is the media that's saying, Yahoo is saying.
You know what happened to, what was that virus they had a couple, Heartbleed. Oh boy.
So, I don't know.
Anyhow, yeah.
Then we got some more stuff here. A lot of people are just posting such amazing news. You people are amazing for contributing to all.
Yes, for sure.
And that's what I posted up. Every once in a while I find these great pictures all over the net and I just post them here. You know, and people, you can comment on stuff like this disgusting picture. It's very disgusting and disturbing. I
saw the video.
How does Mr. Dice call her? A skank?
Satanic skank.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Bimbo. Stuff like that, you know? Mr. Dice calls her that.
Someone put the actual video. You can watch it. I'm telling you.
It's nothing good. It's just annoying.
No, you know. And people just keep posting up goodies. Speaking of goodies, I have some goodies coming up soon, and some of the stuff I did take from this group, because you know what, if you guys do give good stuff, do post up goodies, I will post those same goodies up on the show.
Hi Leland, welcome. Glad you'll be able to watch.
We're live now.
Yeah, we're live now.
Okay, so that's pretty much in a nutshell. You know, that's what's happening on that group. Now we're gonna go and talk about the news, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna talk about the EU leaders.
EU leaders are allowing Europe to sleepwalk into new conflict, just like First World War. European politicians are allowing the continent to sleepwalk into a new conflict which parallels the First World War, as a former German chancellor has warned.
So history repeats itself. People, that's what I keep saying. You know, I keep reminding people that history does repeat itself. And here's a little known fact that history does keep repeating itself, you know?
Exactly, and it just goes on to talk about what's happening now with NATO, and which could lead to World War III right here. And
You don't need to read this,
no,
Rob.
no, I'm not going to read it. No, of course not. But it's just a little thing that just says that history's repeating itself just before World War II would happen.
And yes, people, don't forget, all these links I'm posting will appear in the description, so you can all go read it for yourself. Or if you want now, you could just hit pause when the show gets recorded and just read it on the screen, you know?
Exactly. So it'll be great for you folks for the information over here. I guess we'll move on to the next bit of information.
Yeah, because I have quite a bit. I have quite a bit of.
All right, because our time's limited, so let's go to it.
Yes, so hold on, Rob. Hold your horses. Must you be, you know, so hyped up?
Well, you know, I'm getting the teacher tonight, Fritz Springmeier. Okay.
Now this I found on Conspiracy Talk, I believe.
Former CIA NSA Director Michael Hayden. We kill people based on metadata. Yeah, I've seen that.
Have you seen it?
Yes. Yeah, I have. Former Central Intelligence Agency and National Security Agency Director Michael Hayden admitted that the agency has often used metadata for killing people. The claim came during a recent debate at Johns Hopkins University over the NSA's untethered surveillance program, which came to light via the revelations of Edward Snowden. So how about that? They're killing people just based on what they do on what they do online.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of Spider-Man yesterday.
Meaning Spider-Man?
Yeah, the movie. Remember how the NSA, well, they were looking at what people were doing.
Exactly. Okay, yeah. So
this article, that it was just mostly that, you know. I mean, that they're after us. They want to kill us, but we know that, right? I'm just saying what
everybody knows about that.
Now this I found on. Give me a second. Give me just one little second to make sure it's legible. Or is it readable? We'll say readable.
Legible. Okay.
Yes, I had to post this up. This I got on a Conspiracy Talk.
This is from our friend Lisa Haven, who's been a guest on our show before. She's great. Russia and China to kill the dollar. They're preparing for collapse. X22 report. And that's from beforeitsnews.com.
There they are.
As soon as it goes down, there's China and Russia, Putin and the guy from China, I guess the president. Our country, well, the U.S., is rapidly spiraling downward. China sees it, Russia sees it, but the United States is keeping its citizens in the dark. The economy is unsuitable path, and the retail industry is in full decline. Russia and China are signing deals behind closed doors and leaving the U.S. in the dark. They plan on bypassing the U.S. dollar for all transactions. They are moving closer military and financially. Be prepared. The economic downfall is nearer than you think. But
now,
you know,
there's a video, before you say your comment, there's a video, we can't play it.
No.
But it is 44 minutes, it's worth listening to. Yeah.
Yes, for sure it is. But you know, they say that once the U.S. dollar collapses, and then it's going to be like a domino effect. And what's going to happen, folks, is that all the world economies, all the economies are going to collapse, and it's going to be a bankrupt. Like the world's going to be bankrupt, and they're going to implement a new world order, a new world system, which is in the Bible and other places. So basically, when this happens, just remember what I said.
Yeah, but Rob, like I keep saying in the past, you know what it is, eh? People, they're looking for a leader. So, and they're looking for someone higher up. They're not looking for how can I tell you, anybody that comes that speaks well, they'll take them in. That's the problem with today's world. Everybody is looking for a leader. So
Okay.
if something like that fails, oh, we have to turn to someone. But that is the worst thing we can do, is turn to another human, you know?
Yeah. In the chat, how to get to our blog, because someone can't come in. One of our viewers is trying to come in to 12160, but it gets rerouted to what really happened. So if you could post a link and I'll copy paste and I'll send it to one of our viewers.
Post what link?
Our blog, MNR blog.
The MnR blog.
Yeah.
Good thing I didn't take it down.
Never do. Never do.
Yeah, I know, Rob, but you know, it's like, I hope they, yeah, look, it's clickable. You see that?
Yeah, but I'm gonna copy paste it.
Anyhow, the next little bit of information is quite mind-blowing. Could I post it, Rob?
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get off. Okay. Just gonna send it. It's gonna take 1 second right here. Okay, go.
All right. The next little bit.
Yes, I saw this today in the Journal de Montréal, our French newspaper right here. Maybe it was in the English too. I didn't get a chance to see because I was busy today.
La Ronde, by the way, is it like a Six Flag? Well, they are Six Flag. It's an amusement park.
Yeah, La Ronde installs fingerprint scanners for seasons pass holders right here. So you insert your finger there, and I guess they keep you in the database, I would imagine.
Yeah, but you know what, Rob? This is like the frog in the pot. You know, when it's the water's normal room temperature, you could put the frog in,
and then
it won't jump out. And then, but if you put the hot water, it'll jump out. But this is what they're conditioning the cats.
Yeah. Next time you go to La Ronde.
Yeah.
Okay, go down. Perfect. Next time you go to La Ronde, you may need to prepare to have your finger scanned. Seasons pass holders will pass through the entrance lines quicker according to the park, yet the technology has some word about privacy issues. Because herding the crowds at the Six Flags owned amusement park, it isn't easy at the best of times. It's decided to install biometric finger scanners to decrease wait time at the entrance. The process is going to take 9 seconds. So you scan your card, you put your finger on it, for 9 seconds you're in. That's what we decided to go with the system. It's quicker for seasons pass holder, says Jules Hubert, La Ronde's communications officer. Very interesting.
But getting back to what I was saying, that they're conditioning little kids, because that's who goes to these amusement parks, right?
Yes.
To accept this and say, yeah, it's good to do this. You know what? If the mark of the beast comes, whatever, the chip, it's okay. It's no problem. We'll take it because it's cool. Kids nowadays, you know how it is with technology. They love technology.
Exactly. And speaking of technology, I just got on Facebook. I just got a spam.
Oh no.
Someone says to add me from Hotmail. Isn't it terrible?
Yeah, they're bad, you know.
Hi, please email me babynikita11@hotmail.com for discussion. Folks, if you get this on Facebook, do not, and I repeat, do not add this person. I'm gonna be putting it in quarantine later on.
All right, the next article.
Pope Francis, which we say is Peter the Roman, could be Petrus Romanus. Pope Francis goes public with support of FRID chip implementation. In a controversial move by the Catholic Church, Pope Francis has come out in vocal support of RFID chips technologies and the extraordinary potentials they hold for mankind. The outrage stems from belief held by many evangelical fundamentalists and Catholics that RFID implants are the mark of the beast spoken about in their holy book chapters regarding the end of the world. Now, I do not think that RFID chips per se are the mark of the beast itself until you have to declare allegiance. But he's paving the way for this to happen.
No, I don't trust none of these guys, these religious leaders.
Well, no, of course not. They're all working for the higher ups, the elites, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them.
It's like, I don't know, all these religions, they're all messed up when you think about it. You know,
Well, they
just
are.
today I saw a person in the subway, she had rosary beads and just repeating herself. Like, why would you want to repeat yourself? You know?
If she was repeating in tongues, isn't that supposed to be something good?
No, not repeating. She's just repeating or whatever, reading and repeating. Kind of the Jews do it with the wall, the Muslims do it. All these religions, they all repeat themselves. You should never repeat. It's from the heart. That's what the Lord and God want. It's from the heart. Anyhow, next.
All right.
Robots now. Now we're talking about robots next.
Oh boy. Yeah. Are robots edging closer to being alive? Scientists create droids that can sweat and even goosebumps. Boy, who wants a robot that'll sweat? Robotists at Kansai University in Osaka, Japan have created 3 prototype robots that show psychological reactions. One droid sweats from its forehead to show it's anxious, while another gets goosebumps in a cold freezer or when it is read a scary story. A bear uses a fan to create breath, according to how loud it speaks, to make it seem more realistic to humans. Scientists think extra emotional clues will help humans be more comfortable with droids.
Now, I'm not going to go into the article because we don't have much time, but my
No,
whole
no,
point
no,
of
no, no.
this, Rob, my whole point of this is, what do they mean by droids can sweat and even get goosebumps? That's my question. What are they already to that stage where these robots have feelings and we don't see these robots? Is there
Well, of
something
course.
that they're not telling us?
You think of it one day, if Google wakes up and has its own brain, it's going to control everything because the world, the free flow of information is all over Google. So if it one day it just magically wakes up and has its own mind, it could be like part of some kind of beast, you know? Maybe it is even beast part. All right, next
Anyhow,
article.
the next article, and I pulled this up. This is on UFOs.
UFO evidence, alien pet costumes, and more. The 5 weirdest things about the MnRTV UFO festivals. And there we see the little green man, the little green, which is supposed to be a great alien. Now, isn't that cute?
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't want one in my bedroom, though.
The real one or
No,
the
no,
toy one?
no, I don't want none of them because they're fallen angels. Why would I want them?
Aliens have visited Earth, some say dozens of times by unidentified flying objects, best known as UFOs. Every year, UFOs and the aliens' life that probably built them are studied and celebrated at the MnRTV UFO Festival in McMinnville. The weekend marks the 15th annual festival, and throngs of people are descending upon the town to attend. Lecturers, watches, films, and of course, parade through town, dressed in wacky alien costume. It's weird. It's a weird celebration in concept alone. But take a look inside the event, and the rabbit hole gets deeper. All right, and as we go down, we can see it offers proof that UFOs might actually exist. Well, they do exist, but people don't know. Might not think they're not. What it is what they not think what it's not.
It's a delusion. That's all that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyhow, next article, I'll move on because there's nothing really there. It's just that people are praising these things. Like, that's my point of that article, is people are praising them.
It's not what you think, folks. Aliens is not what you think it is. That's what I want to say before.
Now, the next article, it's dead spacecraft helps map Bermuda Triangle. You know, that Bermuda Triangle, there's something there. Who knows, maybe
Yeah, here we go again. In the 70s, folks, this was popular, the Bermuda Triangle. I remember mid-70s, this was popular, 75 to 80, that's how people talked about the Bermuda Triangle. Peering to the Bermuda Triangle of space. A European spacecraft has given us a detailed glimpse into a dangerous radiation zone a few kilometers above the coast of Brazil. The South Atlantic Anomaly SAA is the point where the Van Allen radiation belt, rings of charged particles that surround Earth, comes closest to the planet's surface. When the belts were discovered in the 1950s, scientists suspect the SAA could pose some risks. Sure enough, as spacecraft electronics have become more complex, troubles have arisen. Astronauts on the space shuttle noticed that their laptop computers would sometimes crash when they passed through the anomaly, and they saw strange lights flash before their eyes. So this is like kind of like a Bermuda Triangle in above Earth.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
That's a mystery. It'll always be a mystery.
Except we can't go there. We could go to the Bermuda Triangle, but we cannot go there.
No, they won't let an MnR to investigate there. You know?
No. They won't allow. Well, no, but we can't go in space anyways.
Now there's been something. Hold on, let me just focus. That's it. This is from the Weather Network. Weird, but they found a UFO crash in the eastern China. There's been a couple of crashes here and there, and this is what crashed. But it doesn't look like some kind of a spaceship. It's just unidentified flying object, because that's what a UFO is at the end, right?
Well, people think right away when UFO it's an alien.
Yeah, well, we don't know.
It's just a ship. It could be just anything, but they assume, But
there's more pictures to this, by the way, but we can't show them now. So this is what happened Tuesday.
Okay. Yes. So yeah, this happened Tuesday. UFO crashed to the ground Friday morning. Tuesday. Yeah. Provides breaking headlines around the world after 3 UFOs crashed at the ground Friday morning, according to the China News Service. Residents in rural villages report hearing a piercing noise followed by a large fireball prior to the crashes. The circular objects are metallic with jagged edge. Witness reports suggest the UFOs are about 2.5 feet in width and weigh about 90 pounds. Well, hopefully we'll get more news onto this, right? There'll be more information available soon.
Yeah, but I just got it today. It's like fresh off the press.
Fresh off the press, or they should say the internet press right here.
Yeah, like I told you, there's been quite a bit of UFO crashes, but why don't they land in the city? It's beyond me. Haven't you not noticed that? It's like, what stops them from landing in the city? Imagine now we're doing a show. So
and
this
they land right in front of my house and burns my house down.
Yeah, and there goes the MnR show. But anyways, this is the other article.
There goes me.
UFO crashes in Nevada, May 19.
Ah, Nevada. Yes, Nevada. That is like top UFO hotspot right there. And we see a picture, and this dude here, he's watched what happened.
Well, his name is Jeremy.
Jeremy Mariolaur is a paranormal investigator who has been researching alleged UFO crashes in the Nevada desert. After hearing of the crashes, he decided to find out if there was any truth to the rumors. Surprisingly, he has been able to speak to dozens of people who say that they have knowledge of the crashes. Some of them have been first-hand witnesses. We will talk to Jeremy about how and why he began his investigations and his findings. So that seems to be a pretty good thing for you folks that are into UFOs to look into this.
Yeah, I wish we can be UFO hunters. But we have to be careful what we wish for, right?
Well, being UFO hunters, yeah, that would take time. We wouldn't be able to do the show unless we do it live, as we're investigating the UFO crash sites and everything. But that's like kind of like, first of all, we have to go to UFO conferences.
Oh, Trish, I should say. Trish is just bothering me. She wants to know when we're going to go because she's getting all ready.
Do you have any more information?
No, I could get more, but
well, I guess we'll go for a break now, and at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Our special guest, I'm so excited, Fritz Springmeier, folks. He's back with a whole world of information, and we cannot wait to have him. It's been months that people have been emailing me, and they've been emailing Mario himself and saying, when is Fritz coming on? So tonight we've got him on, folks, so don't you dare miss it.
Yes, it's very exciting. I'm excited to have him.
Oh, for sure, every time he comes on. So folks, don't go away. We'll be right back after this break.
Yes, and here's Trish.
Fritz Springmeier, born Victor E. Schuff, is an American right-wing conspiracy theorist author, formerly a resident of Corbett, Oregon, who has written a number of books claiming that satanic forces are behind the move toward world domination by various families and organizations. He has described this goal as exposing the New World Order agenda. 2. 3 Dead link contents hide 1 background 2 conspiracy theories 3 criminal conviction 4 selected works 5 references 6 external links background Springmeier grew up with his father. Citation needed James E. Schiff, who worked for the United States Agency for International Development. 4 His work involved developing the agricultural needs of countries internationally, including the Balochistan area. 4 conspiracy theorist Springmeier has written and self-published a number of books based on the subject of mind control. He has endorsed the existence of Project Monarch, an alleged CIA mind control project whose existence is based on the assertions of Kathy O'Brien. 5. 6 Project Monarch is not mentioned in reviews of MKUltra, its alleged parent program, because most MKUltra records were deliberately destroyed in 1973 by order of then CIA Director Richard Helms. It has been difficult, if not impossible, for investigators to gain a complete understanding of the more than 150 individually funded research projects sponsored by MKUltra and related CIA programs. 7-8 In 1977, Richard Helms was convicted of failing to testify fully about the U.S. government's anti-government activities abroad and illegal surveillance domestically. 9 Springmeier's early work, The Watchtower and the Masons, focuses on the relationship between Jehovah's Witnesses and Freemasonry. In this book he describes a relationship between Charles Taze Russell and the so-called Eastern Establishment. Springmeier followed these links into Masonry and did a further examination of the Eastern Establishment. Citation needed criminal conviction on January 31, 2002. Springmeier was indicted in the United States District Court in Portland, Oregon in connection with an armed robbery. On February 12, 2003, he was found guilty of 1 count of armed bank robbery in violation of 18 United States C. cubic millimeter 2113 A and D, and 1 count of aiding and abetting in the use of a semi-automatic rifle during the commission of a felony in violation of 18 United States C. Section 924 C. 1, 11, 12 in November 2003. He was sentenced to 51 months in prison on the armed robbery charge and 16 months on the aiding and abetting charge. Fined $7,500, ordered to pay $6,488 in restitution, and assessed an additional $200. 13 Springmeier's conviction was affirmed by the United States Court of Appeals for the 9th Circuit. 14 He was imprisoned and was released from federal prison on March 25, 2011. 15-16.
Thank you very much, Trish. I always appreciate hearing your sweet voice. You know.
Oh yes, for sure.
That nothing at all beats that. I know people are gonna say, but come on, how come you put up Wikipedia? Because we like to put up Wikipedia, right?
We do. Yeah, we do. I keep hearing bells. I don't know what that is all about.
Bells?
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
So I'm really excited, folks, to get Fritz Springmeier on, and here's his book, the Bloodlines of the Illuminati, right here, over 600 pages just on the Illuminati families, right here, folks. Bloodlines of the Illuminati by Fritz Springmeier. It is a Bible just about the Illuminati. There's so much information here that it's incredible. If you can show the book right here. I got this book a couple of years ago. And here's our guest. He's coming on.
Yes, we're excited.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, Fritz. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Robert. And yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's great to see you. It's great to hear from you.
Thanks.
I was just talking about your book over here, The Bloodlines of the Illuminati. Do you see it?
No, I don't see anything. I just see I just see your picture
Okay.
of you by your motorcycle.
Oh, okay. That's because I'm on Skype. That's why. But it's okay though. But I'm talking about your Bloodlines of the Illuminati book, and I got this book 4 years ago when it was very hard to get. Like now, you could get your book on InfoWars, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I was just telling the folks how great it is about the book. So welcome to the MnR live TV show, Fritz.
Well, thank you.
So how have you been?
Busy, as you've seen. You know, I've been putting out posts every day, trying to give people a lot of new information. And, you know, like today I did a couple posts.
You did a couple of posts, right?
Yes, I put out some information that Deborah Tavares, she gave a presentation, and I felt like that was probably one of the best informed presentations I have seen. You know, she had this NASA war document, and then she talked about the Iron Mountain report, which Iron Mountain report's been around for a long time, but you know, silent weapons for quiet wars. But when she put that together with the NASA war document, you really get this total picture of what we're facing.
Okay, yeah, I can imagine. She's been a guest last year on our show, and she has like a lot of wonderful news.
Oh, okay, great. I'm glad you had her on your show. Now, we're broadcasting right now, right?
Yeah, we're broadcasting, and it's gonna be on YouTube later on.
Okay.
And we're gonna hear you. We're gonna hear everything that you say and everything. It's just.
Should I turn off my video so that we just?
Yeah. We don't need. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, you're getting the hang of it finally, eh? Because I remember the first couple of times, like when we got on the show, it was kind of hard. But you know, all this technology, it takes time to adapt to it. But it's once you get used to it, it's okay, you know.
Yeah.
So, have you? Someone said on the Alex Jones show that you had a world of information, new types of breaking news. Are you able to share this information with us?
Sure, I'm able to share a lot.
Great, that's great. That's what we're here for, to show the world.
Now, one more question before I get into answering that question. Are you getting an echo? Do I need to put in my earphone?
No, we hear you well.
Okay, fine.
Great.
Well, up on my website, which is pintracks.com, I have put up there the guests that are going to be going to the Bilderberg meeting coming up soon. That's not very far off, approximately a week off. And I've also put up there the topics. Now, you know, these are things that are in flux. I will update it as well as I can. And there are also some people that just have a lot of power or clout and moxie that invite themselves. So I'm saying that because some people are possibly going to come back and say, well, Fritz, your list was incomplete. There was so-and-so showed up. No, I know that there's going to be a few people that may show up that aren't on the guest list. But, you know, they invited themselves and have the power to do it. That's all I can say. But I do have the Bilderberg list of attendees and their topics, and that's one thing that the listening audience, if they're interested in the Bilderbergers, they should go there. What are the Bilderbergers? Well, when I talked about Deborah sharing the Iron Mountain report, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, that was what was discussed in 1954 in the first Bilderberg meeting, and what they discussed there is how they're going to control humanity, and that's they've done these things. They say in there that rather than create hot wars, that they're going to come up with substitutes. So the war on drugs, is an example. The war on terror is an example of a substitute war. They use wars to control us. We're Canada. We're concerned about our security because their controlled press tells us is our enemy. Like they tell us Bin Laden is our enemy, as if Bin Laden was going to be able to hurt me. So therefore, we should drop bombs on Afghan villages. There's no connection there, but people don't logically think it through. They get scared and they give their rights away and ask the government to do whatever they need, whatever the government wants to do. So the Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars also talks about how they're going to create fake food.
Fake food?
Yeah, food that tastes good, the junk food, the processed food that they offer us, that's so addictive.
Right.
That's got so much salt and sugar in it, and it's addictive, but it's very unhealthy. And years ago when I was younger, you didn't see kids having diabetes.
No.
I look around me, and I'm just surprised nobody looks healthy. The people do not. I remember how people looked when I was younger, and overall people looked healthy. Now it's just the opposite. We've got so much coming down the pipe being thrown at us. We've got the mass media being used to mind control us, and we've got all of these new technologies that are being used to control us. The intelligence agencies, they pretend like they're going to be protecting us, but they're actually set up like the CIA, NSA. They're spying on us to control us Americans. They're not there to protect us. They're there to help control us.
So the thing is, sorry, because I have a thought here. Will this affect Canada and the world, or just the states is going to be controlled? For folks to know, that are asking these questions that want to know.
Yes, very good question. Because I'm not your typical American. I realize Canada is a separate country.
Yeah, I know.
Some Americans seem to think that it's another state or something.
That's crazy.
But no, this whole thing is going to affect the entire globe. In fact, Canada, United States, and Mexico are, de facto merged, so to speak. I mean, they've already signed the paperwork that merges the three, and you're going to increasingly see, as we move through the next few years, as we go through all of these problems, that North America will become an entity similar to like Europe is an entity. They've based the world on 10 regions like Europe, North America, and then each of those 10 regions is broken down 10 ways. You know, so they've used the decimal system for the new way that they're going to break the world.
And just like the Bible prophesies, at the end times there'll be 10 regions, 10 kings.
Yeah. So, you know, Canada's going to be drug along through the whole mess along with the rest of the world. You know, one of the things, and as you know, because I know you read my posts, I've been talking about how the elite have this genocidal agenda where they're going to cull the population. They want half of the population at least to be eliminated. Now, they're not doing this in the sense of, in their minds, being evil, but they honestly think they've come to the conclusion, and I disagree with their conclusion. It's not the way I think, but they think that the world's overpopulated, and a lot of people out there have come to that same conclusion. Now, a lot of that's because of the mass media is brainwash people into thinking that there's too many people. If you drive through Western Canada, if you drive through a state like Wyoming, and you drive for mile after mile and there's nobody there, and you realize there's plenty of space. We're not running out of space. You could move people there, and with the technology that we have, they could be growing more than they need. They could be growing enough to, one person, if he's set up correctly, could be growing enough food to feed a city, you know? So we haven't even begun to touch what the potential is for growing. Unfortunately, the way things are being run is, you know, we have a food distribution problem in this world, and a lot of other problems where they're, you know, my people are farmers, and I've sat there and watched how there's been this campaign to destroy and put the family farmer out of business, you know, so that they can replace the family farmer with people, companies like Monsanto, who are horrible. That Monsanto will be part of this genocidal agenda. You know, they're not there to help us. They're there to run this genocidal agenda.
You must know about the Georgia Guidestones.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's an example.
Exactly.
Right there.
I did a show a couple of weeks ago. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. I can't remember now. And we talked about the Georgia Guidestones, that they want to depopulate the world from 7 billion to 500 million.
Yeah, that's an extreme depopulation goal right there. From what I know, the goal isn't quite that extreme, but knowing the kind of things that, like Deborah said, you know, that she was talking about this document that she has that got discovered, it could well end up going beyond the 50% that they talk about. Yeah, that's why I encourage people to do what they can to improve their health, because, you know, it's not the end of the human race, but it's definitely a culling process. And, you know, I also believe in God, and I also believe that, you know, if we do our part, and God will honor that and help us, you know. But if we're doing everything wrong, it's like, let's say we're eating food that causes cancer, and we're smoking, and then we say, God, you know, protect me from cancer. I mean, you know, if you look in the Word of God, he basically says, you know, if you want help, you've got to have the right attitude. You know, He's not going to, you know, you put God to the test by setting yourself up for cancer. Guess what you're going to get? You're going to get cancer. You know, so I'm encouraging people to do what you can you know, it says like, you know, if a man doesn't work, he should not eat. What that's saying there is not that God won't provide, but that if you're too lazy to get off your rear end and help yourself, don't expect God just to drop food down the chimney. You know, it's not going to happen that way. If you go out and work and then, you know, have faith, it's amazing that God provides. You know, God's been providing for me. I live on the manna program. You know, I'm so grateful for God providing for me these last 3 years, because I've had my share of needs, and you know, and I really do believe that God will provide for us. We need to have that faith. We need to realize we serve a good God, and He cares about us. He's a loving God, and that's difficult for some people to acknowledge, unfortunately. And that's a place I would never want to be at, is where I had anger towards my Creator. The only thing I want is to love Him, because there's something in the Word of God that says all things work together for good to those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. So if things start getting worse, I'm going to love Him more, because I want Him to work these details out for the best, which His promise says He'll do, and which I have seen repeatedly over all these years. I've been a Christian almost half a century, and I have repeatedly seen that we serve a loving God, and He does take care of us. He will bring us through things. Doesn't mean everything's going to go our way. Doesn't mean we're going to be rich. You know, it's not like you blab it and grab it.
Like a genie. Like you blow a lamp and then the genie comes out and you get your wishes. It doesn't work like that.
Right. It doesn't work that way. But when you do step out in faith with God, it's amazing. You find out that He's there and He does care about us.
And hopefully He'll return soon.
Yeah. Considering the mean, nasty things that are on the agenda that's hanging over our head, it would be nice to for Him to return sooner than later.
Exactly. Speaking of which, in the Bilderberg meeting, this type of Illuminati meeting, what have you learned that they plan to do to control us more? Is there new technologies, or just a plan that's working up faster and faster?
Yeah, it's a combination of things. You know, we thought we thought that they were going to use the Middle East to create a war, to get the world into a world war, but that's not the case. Now the hot spot in the world is the Ukraine, and for your listeners, the public is welcome to go on my Facebook page, and I've had, I don't know, you probably are aware that I've put out about a dozen articles now.
Yeah, you have, yes.
On the Ukraine, just because it's such an important focal point for the new Cold War. So now we've entered into a new Cold War, and I think we're going to see more and more of that in the news, and that's going to play a role in how the BRIC countries, BRIC stands for Brazil, Russia, India, and China, how they're going to oppose the United States. And so that's, I've talked about how we're being dragged into a new conflict through the Ukraine. Yeah, there's technologies out there like Deborah was talking about this dust that they have.
Smart dust?
Yeah, it's mechanically bores into your lungs and will just kill you. So they can come through with this lethal dust, and you can breathe it and die. And so they got all these new ways to kill us. And you know, they can use frequencies on us. She talked about an invention that was made with the United States and USSR back in the late 30s. It's called a blast wave accelerator, where they use the methane offshore to create tidal waves. So they can create tidal waves. I'm expecting maybe that there will be some incredible earthquake. The reason why I'm thinking that there may be something on the San Andreas Fault is just some things that I've read that seem to me to indicate that a huge earthquake in California is on their agenda. And of course, these things happen. When they happen, people just go like, well, it's an act of God. Well, no, it's an act of little gods, because they have, like you were saying, they have these technologies to, pardon me? HARP, some other things. Back when I first started exposing the Illuminati, back in early on in the early 90s, one of my ex-Illuminati informers said, well, they're gonna create earthquakes using nukes. And so, you know, when I was at West Point, I had to take science subjects because, you know, we were going towards an engineering degree, and then my dad's a scientist, so I have, besides all an interest in history and some other interests, I also have interest in science. And so when this person said that they were going to do this, I was like, okay, well, let me take my abilities in science and apply them to this question. How could it be done? You know, if someone really did want to use nukes to create an earthquake, how could they do it? And as I studied out the situation, I realized that earthquakes are so much more incredibly powerful than a nuke. A nuke is like a drop in the bucket compared to the energy that's released when an earthquake goes on. So then I studied what could happen if you boosted an occurring earthquake by putting mini nukes along the fault line, and if that would be feasible. And it would be. And so I theorized, or I wrote a paper that explained how mini nukes on a fault line could be used to boost an already occurring earthquake. And then when they had that earthquake, what was it, like 93 or so, yeah. I recognized that was what I had been predicting. And so then I wrote another article saying that that's what had happened. And interestingly, a colonel down in California contacted me and he said, Fritz, you're right. You were right on. That's how they did it. So I was like, okay, good. Some confirmation from somebody in the system. But like you say, they haven't stopped there. They're trying other technologies too. The HARP can release a lot of energy. HARP's used for a number of things, including mind control, keeping track of people. One of the things that I learned was, and I don't remember the figure offhand, I could look. Well, I've got something right here that where my article is.
Go ahead, yeah.
I get the, pardon me?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that the very chip that they invented, that there were a lot of doctors. There was 1,632 doctors that were not our friends, but they have been busy injecting these very chips into their patients without their patients knowing about it. And you go into surgery and you're under, and when they're sewing you up, they're slipping in a very chip. And so 27 million Americans have gotten these transponders
without knowing it.
Without knowing
or the
it,
consent.
Without their consent. And it has all your confidential information, your bank account number, medical records, but most significant is a GPS ID signature so that you can be tracked. And in terms of tracking, it doesn't just track like your latitude and longitude, where you're at, but it can also tell your altitude, how fast you're moving, the direction you're moving. So with their computers, they can keep track of exactly where you're at.
But it's almost like it's the mark of the beast.
Oh boy, yeah.
It's like how close are we to the mark of the beast? We certainly are in the end times.
Well, the U.S. dollar is going to crash before the Obama administration is over.
Okay.
And you can imagine what that's going to do for Canada too, because Canada's and the United States' economies are linked together. And when the United States crashes, so will Canada. Well then, if you follow that economic crash, which means people are going to have a hard time getting medicine and food, and you follow that with, let's say, a war, and then you follow, while everybody's weak and staggering around, you follow it with some plagues, by that time, the survivors will probably be glad to get a chip because they'll be given some kind of bogus reason. Well, when I say bogus, it will make sense to people. You can survive if you take this chip. So, my long answer here is to say, it's conceivable that in 5 or 6 years we may be facing something like this. For someone like myself who's not going to take a chip, that's basically a death sentence, But hey, I'm willing to pay the price because I'm just not going to
risk your salvation.
That's a line that I'm not going to cross.
Will they even? The thing is, will they torture us or just kill us, beheading? That's the thing.
I don't see why they would want to torture us over that issue. They'll just somehow say, that these people are causing trouble and they need to be isolated. They've already been marginalizing us, and people, the general population, it's surprising how they've been turned against Christians. We're seen as the source of all the world's problems.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately. Speaking of bloodlines of the Illuminati, is there new information, about updates on the members?
There sure is.
Like I read about the Van Dynes or something.
Right, exactly. Well, here's what's happened. And it makes total sense. The older generation, like Baron Jacob Rothschild, David Rockefeller, William Garrett Van Dyne, these were the leaders in the 90s. And, David Rockefeller, he's your old school Illuminati kingpin, we don't have any love coming from people like him. And, he set up the Council of Foreign Relations, helped run things like that. You know, regularly was a Bilderberg attendee. And in 2009, there was a secret meeting in Gstaad, Switzerland, where that generation of leadership decided to pass the baton, the leadership, to the next generation. But the next generation really didn't want it. And there, for several reasons. One is they really didn't want the responsibility of carrying out this evil agenda, which, you know, like we've been discussing, genociding the world's population and other things. But also, like Jay Rockefeller was saying, he was going, you know, to paraphrase, basically, it's ridiculous in today's world to think that you can sneak around in the shadows. Now, to use an example of what he's talking about, people like myself who have been researching and following the Bilderbergers, I essentially know, you know, the whole thing from start to finish, how it operates. Every year we manage somehow to get the membership list.
Right.
And you know, then people like Alex Jones goes and screams and protests outside the wherever the venue is. But you know, for all their sneaking around, all they do is call attention to themselves. So it makes sense to do less sneaking around and be more open, where they look less suspicious. So the one person of the next generation who felt like stepping up to the bat and taking more of the leadership was a relatively young man named William Cornelius Van Dyne. He took over in 2009, and he started taking things in a different direction to some degree, and he wanted to take things back to sort of the philosophy that you remember the Bavarian Illuminati was created by Weishaupt.
Yes.
Weishaupt was a philosopher. He wrote 17 books in German on philosophy. He was a philosopher. He wasn't someone doing satanic rituals with candles or something, you know, but he was a philosopher. And so William wanted to take the Illuminati back to that kind of thinking. So he started doing, once he got power, it took him a few years to get power over the entire structure. But once he got power and had the right people around him, he started pruning the membership. So my book, Bloodlines of the Illuminati, those were the bloodlines until just a few years ago. And in the last few years, he's trimmed it down from 13 families to 7 families.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be writing a book or an update or something on this, on the 7 bloodlines?
I would love to. I've got several books I would love to write. I'm one person, you know, and it would be nice if I had several secretaries to take the load off of me. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll just see day by day. I put up these posts on Facebook, which are free for everybody.
Right.
And that seems to be about the best way to get this information out. The Bush family has been kicked out of the Illuminati.
Really?
Yeah, they're out, and I'm happy to see them gone because they, you know, I don't have hardly. It's hard for me to think of anything positive about them.
Right. But the Rothschilds, they're still in it?
The Rothschilds are still
they're
right
like,
here in the leadership.
They're probably like the top.
Yeah, the Rothschilds have more money than any other family. They are still financially, as a unit, the world's most powerful financial unit.
I think they're worth like 600 trillion.
Yeah, I don't think it's that much, but it's definitely hundreds of billions. Yeah.
Okay, because I heard 600 trillion. I don't know if that's. I've read that on many websites and places.
Okay.
So who knows? But like you know, they're very powerful.
Right. So things are going in to some degree, you know. And I picked this up when William took over, because when you're researching them all the time and you're watching, you know, what's going on, what are they doing, I picked up that there was a change, and people would ask me, well, what's going on? And I said, well, the Illuminati have shifted from fast gear to slow gear. But it's more than that. They're actually heading off in a slightly different direction. And so it remains to be seen how much of the agenda will be changed. You have to realize that a lot of the old school that got kicked out of the Illuminati are really ticked off at William for kicking him out of the Illuminati, nor do they like his new agenda, you know, his more benevolent agenda. So we've got a lot going on now, and you know, obviously he feels his power solidified where he can do what he needs to do in his own way. But you've got this Dragon Society, and which relates to some of the Eastern establishment here in the United States. It's some of the fraternal organizations, and they would, you know, so they would like to think that they can run things instead of the Illuminati. So the point I'm making is the world, although in general it's run as a system of systems, you do have within that, you do have some groups that are trying to, you have some power struggles. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, like they're trying to kill themselves, because do you expect like a war between families, or killing of a family that gets out, or they get kicked out? And who decides that they get out? It's like a whole bunch of families that says you're out, like they vote?
Yeah, there's some voting to some degree, but this has been kind of autocratic on the head of the Illuminati. He has a board, and I'm sure that the board has weighed in and agreed with him. And also part of all of this is, you know, there's always been the externalization of the hierarchy. You know, you probably heard me talk about how their agenda calls for an externalization.
Yes, I have.
And in 1959, Alice Bailey wrote a book, Externalization of the Hierarchy, where she gets rather specific about some of the things that are going to happen. So this new Illuminati leadership has just taken their externalization to a higher level, but some of that was already planned, and I'm not sure that you know, it remains to be seen how things play out in the future. One thing that I think you will agree with, Robert, is, you know, it doesn't matter who we are or how good our plans are, things don't always work out, you know?
No, they don't.
Like the Illuminati wanted Abraham Lincoln in as president.
Yeah.
But it didn't take them very long before they decided, hey, we don't like this guy. He's not buckling under and doing what we want. The same way with JFK, you know. The Kennedys were an Illuminati family. They're one of the families that's been kicked out in this recent purge, in this pruning process. But back then, the Kennedys were one of the top 13 Illuminati bloodlines. Kennedy was trained once his brother, who was actually going to become president, died in World War II. and once they realized that his father was going to help make him president, you know, he got some tutors to try to, Illuminati tutors, to try to bring him up to snuff, you know, groom him for the position. But he had the charisma and the youth and the moxie to decide, you know, I'm president, I'm going to do what I want. So they don't always get what they want. The elite got JFK in as president, but then, hey, then they had to assassinate him.
And he also, you must have heard about the secret society speech that John F. Kennedy did.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So he's talking basically about the Illuminati, the New World Order.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes people go, where's the proof of this? So I just send it, I just linked that speech to them, and they start researching it from there. Because, you know, to some people, they find it weird that there's actually a group, an evil group, a cabal, if you want, that actually runs the world behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's what you're sending them to a good example of, you know, if you want to call it proof. Yeah, you know, it says in the Word of God, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, and he's just witnessing there. He's somebody who should know.
Exactly. Do you know, I have a question for you. Do you know if the NWO are worshipping as God? Do they have something to do with, do they have something to do with why they are doing this? Like, do they have some kind of God they're worshipping to? That's one of my questions a viewer is asking. Well,
you know, I'll be open with everybody here. They're in league with what are called aliens, you know.
Fallen angels?
Fallen angels, demons, whatever you want to call them. We're looking at they're being guided by these aliens. They believe the aliens are benevolent, and you know, we're being set up to be helped by these aliens. You know, we certainly do have lots of problems. The question is do we want these so-called benevolent aliens helping us? You know, and I'm not convinced that they're benevolent. I'm convinced that these are fallen angels. And
the Nephilims, the fallen ones, Nephilims.
Yeah, exactly.
So, go ahead.
So that comes into part of their, I guess you could call it the religious structure. In the past, the Illuminati's been very satanic, and there was a lot of satanic activity that was being exposed. I was one of the people that have exposed a lot of satanic activity. In fact, I did a recent post where I named a lot of names of people in Belgium who were caught up in the satanic scandal there. Some of them went to prison for life because they were involved in ritual murders, pedophilia, chasing people in hunts for the sport of it, and all kinds of weird stuff that, you know. And so one of the things that's going to help the Illuminati to some degree is that they've gotten rid of this kind of stuff, because it's going to improve their public, the way the public views them, because the government of Belgium almost fell in 1998. There were like 500,000 people protesting in the capital of Belgium. They were protesting because of this huge scandal, the Dutroux scandal, where everybody in the public found out that the people running their country were a bunch of satanic pedophiles, and they were disgusted. So it's going to serve the elite to help them out that they're getting away from that really extreme, nauseating evil. You know, it remains to be seen how much their act has improved. You know.
But the thing is, don't they need to do rituals to appease their gods to get their power? Because they ultimately get the power from these demons or the devil himself.
Well, apparently, from what I understand, you know, if you're getting technology and so forth like this from aliens, you don't need to go to the dark side. Now, you've caught my drift what I think the aliens are.
Right.
But if the aliens are giving you technology, if they're helping you out, if they're able to communicate with you telepathically, if they're, you know, 10,000 years advanced from us or whatever they claim, you know, then you don't have to go the dark route. You've got a different way you can approach it.
Because the way I understand it is that the aliens, they're fallen angels themselves, and they're doing a kind of a hybrid program to have to bring back the Nephilim. Because in the Bible it says, just as in the days of Noah, so shall be the Son of Man.
Yeah, I really think that we have Nephilim, cyborgs. That was something that Debbie talked about. Robots, cyborgs. And the paperwork she was talking about talks about how they have a 4th generation clone already. And I talked clear back in 1995 in my Deeper Insights book about how they were cloning already. Cloning, you know, they've publicly come out and talked about cloning animals, but there's also been announcements every now and then about people being cloned. So this thing is not, you know, there have been announcements of people being cloned, and it makes sense because it's no more difficult to clone a person than it is to clone any other mammal. You just have to do a slightly different process, but it's essentially the same thing. It's not that big of a deal.
Do you think we're going to see alien disclosure anytime soon?
Say that again?
Do you think we're going to see alien disclosure anytime soon?
Yes, I do. I do. I think that what we're looking at is we've got so many problems on our plate that that humanity is going to be so grateful for the help that they receive.
And that's just that'll be evil, obviously.
From our perspective, but I mean, if you're somebody that's suffering and dying and somebody comes along and provides solutions, people aren't going to argue with solutions.
No, they won't. Have you read the book of Albert Pike?
You mean Morals and Dogma?
Yeah.
Yes.
My guest wanted to know this. And is it true what he said about Masons, about Ahura Mazda?
Ahura Mazda, yeah. He also said that the energy of Lucifer is the energy behind Masonic Lodge. And he was the one that is quoted so often about saying that there would be a third world war centered in the Middle East.
Yes.
But, you know, like I say, as of now, I think that the plans have changed. And you know, and that's the way it is. The future's not written in stone. People can change their agendas and plans. So now I'm focused on the Ukraine and Eastern Europe.
I see. Yeah, but do you still think there'll be a world war, or it's just gonna be like mini wars, like mini M-I-N-I mini wars?
I think at some point it will develop into something worldwide. Yeah. But they're definitely going to continue stressing us with everything. Just and so I hope that people, even though they watch world events, but they step back and realize, hey, these things are there to stress us out, and we've got to step over that, you know, and not let it. It's just like I wrote something in one of my posts about the shock of combat, you know, and we've got so much coming at us that we really have to keep balanced. We really need to have realistic expectations. We really need to think, okay, how can I maintain my balance through all of this? How can I continue being spiritual? How can I focus on Christ and not let ourselves get so beat up that we become shell-shocked? You know, there's something, there was a book called Future Shock, you know, and we've got so much coming at us and so many things changing that it's hard not to experience future shock, where you're just being overwhelmed by all the changes. And we're going to see a lot of changes in the future. So be mentally prepared for these things, you know, so that you know, so that one can as best as possible work one's way through them. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. 100%. I agree with you. It does. What can you tell us about Evelyn Rothschild?
Evelyn de Rothschild?
Yes.
Not the leader. The leader right now is Baron Jacob Rothschild.
Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure it was one of them.
Yeah, and Guy de Rothschild was right up there too, but he's dead.
So that would make Jacob Rothschild one of the most powerful men in the world, if not the powerful man.
Yeah, he works with William Van Dyne. They're close friends. Yeah, it's you know, one has to, you know, I know people have a picture that the elite are in red outfits with tails with forks on the end and walk around with pitchforks, but it doesn't really work that way in real life. You know, people that are very wealthy and rich, they're very refined. You know, they've been taught manners. They give they're philanthropists. You know, they do benevolence works. They have, like I say, they have good manners. So, you know, it's more complicated than what people's simplistic thinking. People's simplistic thinking is not really helpful in understanding the bigger picture about these people.
Okay, okay, yeah, I see exactly what you mean. But these people, what do they? All this technology, like computer, cell phone, laptops, and whatever else there is, televisions, high-definition televisions, smartphones, all this stuff, is it all alien technology? Because we didn't have this. It's like, it just seems like it's just busting at the seams.
You know, a lot of people have wondered if we haven't back-engineered some of this alien technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. And then also one of the things that happens is they're suppressing technology. If you or I came up with some helpful technology, here in the United States, there's 4,000 unnumbered patent applications that they've got this 9-member committee that if you submit a patent and it's something that the elite want to suppress, they can just steal it and suppress it. And if you talk about it, you know, you get a 20-year federal prison sentence. They put a gag order on your patent and just suppress it. So, you know, maybe people aren't aware that that's kind of things happening. But you know,
no, go ahead. Go ahead, Fritz.
Oh, well, I was going to say that one of the things that they created was bitcoins, you know, which is bitcoins are like a forerunner to the cashless society. The Illuminati created this. They set up some people to research it out, and what do I want to say here? Well, one of the problems that they had is that the NSA spies on everybody, not just us, but they spy on the Illuminati too. So they felt vulnerable, and they put together a research team with a budget of millions of dollars. These are cryptologists. You can't say it, you know.
Cryptologists, yeah.
Yeah, people that know how to encrypt things, inventors, mathematicians, people that understand algorithms, and they created these, and now they're spreading around the world. You know, there's quite a few places around the world that will accept bitcoins as currency, and our own IRS here in the United States is telling people that they will tax bitcoins, but they're almost impossible to find because they're digitized, encrypted bits. And if you know what a bit looks like, one bit looks like another bit. You know, when these bits come over the internet, you know, in the end we see it as a picture, we see it as music or this or that. But when it's traveling through the air, or when it's going through fiber optics, there's no way to tell one bit from another bit. In fact, the computers will split. You know, a picture is not going to be sent as one picture, but it's going to be, you know, a few bits here, a few bits there, along with all these other things that it's sending. So it's all scrambled, and then it unscrambles it on the other end. It's pretty complicated. So there isn't any way to, especially when they're encrypted, for anybody to even find these bitcoins. They're just totally embedded secretly in the mix of everything. So, but it's a step. It's a step towards the cashless society. And anyway, that was, you know, one of the things we mentioned technology. One of the things that's coming down the pike. You're going to see smart chips embedded everywhere. You know. And so they'll be able to think for us. You know, all these inanimate objects that before were just dumb, you know, they'll have chips and they'll be smart. You know, it's like now doors know when to open. You know, that's an example of what I mean. A door becoming intelligent to know when it should open itself. You know, and then being able to open itself.
It's like it's gonna be everywhere, even in the clothes. I think Walmart is having this in the clothes.
Everything. You know, exactly. And you know, just think with your imagination how you can make something smart, and believe me, it's going to be done.
Oh, it is, for sure. But someone said that they heard that the Bitcoin got hacked and everyone lost their money. Isn't there I heard it was like a problem with Bitcoin.
Well, actually, there was for a short time. The Bitcoins did go down in value, but overall, from the time that Bitcoins were created to now, they have gained an incredible amount of value. So they started out a few cents and are now, I don't know, thousands of dollars. No, they're a very good investment, actually. If somebody's wanting to invest in something that's going to make them money. Yeah, Bitcoins, they did have, for one little bit there, they started going down, but overall, they've made incredible gains in value.
Okay, so but that could be the way of the future.
Oh, definitely, especially considering that the elite created it. You know that they're behind it.
I think they're behind everything. I have a question for you, Fritz. Do you think sports is controlled by the Illuminati, and who wins and who loses the championship, it's also decided?
Well, it's a very subtle thing. I started to write a book about it years ago.
Right.
And I never finished it. But yes, the answer is that like the Super Bowl or something like this, those are controlled. You will notice, have you watched the American Super Bowl?
I have, yes.
Okay. Well,
yes.
These games have gotten incredibly entertaining. I mean, you know, I sit there and watch, and let's say somebody kicks something or they run a play or something, the announcer right there as it's happening will know that, okay, this sets a new record, the old record was blah, 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 exactly as it happened. Now, come on.
Yeah.
I know these people are sports enthusiasts, but to be able to say something like that right off the top of your head as it's happening, these things are planned. They're like choreographed to be entertainment, but also, you know, I expose the trauma-based mind control where people are made into multiple personalities and programmed. And a lot of the professional sports, especially like the football players, the baseball players, they're programmed multiple personalities. And they can have a program put into them where they just do some subtle little thing, and if you watch real close, you'll see that through just a subtle change in doing something a little bit different, you can really change an entire game. You know, some games are won in the last play of the game. You know, one play may change a game, you know, because one player didn't block somebody and he knocks the quarterback down, the quarterback fumbles the ball, and that gives the other team the ball on the 15-yard line and they make a touchdown or whatever. So it's real easy to subtly change the outcome. And even if you just change the point spread, and the reason why they do this is because they bet on these games and they make millions of dollars. Wherever you have large sums of money being tied up, being spent, being waged, you know, in bets, you know that there's going to be corruption there.
And so you would say any of the four major sports, basketball, football, hockey, and baseball, and basketball, I think I said, all the championships are decided beforehand.
Well, they're manipulated.
Yeah.
They're manipulated. The future's not written in stone,
Okay.
so it's not like, you know, I'm sure that sometimes the manipulators get surprised too, because who can predict, you know, in any game, a quarterback might move his leg just the wrong way and hurt his ankle where he's got to go out of the game, you know. Nobody can entirely predict things, but they do try to subtly manipulate them. And I've watched, like I watched this one basketball game, professional basketball game, and I saw the coach do this most stupidest move. He called a timeout, and he had a play, he sent a play in that was stupid. His team was ahead, and it lost. And then I read in the paper the next day, this old grandmother was going, "What a stupid coach. The play he ran was obviously stupid." Well, yeah, the grandmother could see that, but when I would mention it to all these guys that are basketball fans, it bounces off their head. No, he was making a good call there. You know, boy, they can't conceive that a basketball coach could send in a stupid play. They can't conceive it. It's, you know, they can't see what they don't want to see. So it goes right by them. The obvious goes right by them.
Yes, so it's as if it's manipulated to a certain way, like to their advantage.
Right.
All these games, like the championships and stuff like this.
Right.
Yeah.
It's good entertainment. The Illuminati use this kind of entertainment to control the masses. It's a formula, you know, bread and circus. They used to have stadiums back in the Roman days for the same reason. You know, keep the people occupied with sports, and they're not going to rebel.
Exactly. They won't know while they're doing their own servitude, just being hooked like onto entertainment, onto sports, movies, TV shows.
Yeah, and then they use television and these shows to run agendas. If you're watching a movie, you know, and I brought this out in a recent post, a lot of people think, oh, well, the movie's for entertainment, so they have their guard down. But let's say there's a typical movie will have this drama where there's a problem, a situation, and then the key characters will look around for a solution, and then the person watching, in their minds, they'll be trying to think of some solution too. And then in the end, a solution will be found, and that solution will have the values that the programmer wants to instill upon the person watching. And so then the person watching doesn't even realize that they've been mind controlled. They just think that they watched an entertaining movie. But then when they get into a similar situation, they will recall the answer that they saw in that movie, and they will apply it, and not even realize that they got influenced.
It seems like the movies of today have a lot to do with aliens and UFOs, and it seems...
Exactly. They're preparing us for the aliens coming to help us.
And when that happens, a lot of people will be fooled by them. Do you know anything about the Vatican connection to the aliens?
No, not specifically. I mean, when you talk about the Catholic Church,
yeah,
talking about something that's so broad, and you know, it spreads all over the world, and of course you're going to have, and their membership is active in military and politics and everything. So you can't really separate them out from what the elite are doing. So definitely, you know, they're right in there with this whole alien agenda. But as to having something special,
like they have like a telescope called the telescope is called Lucifer.
Oh yeah, they have a telescope called Lucifer. Yeah.
What a name to call it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, and also, you know, as a pope we have a Jesuit, and they say that Jesuits are very powerful people. Like the Black Pope, he's called. He's a very powerful in the Illuminati. Can you enlighten us with this?
Well, I know for a fact that the heads of the Illuminati direct the Black Pope and the regular Pope through messages. There's 6 major religious figures or denominational, or I should say religious heads, that get orders through the United Grand Lodge there in London. And so your Grand Mufti there in Egypt, and his second in command, and then the rabbi, the Grand Rabbi there in Jerusalem, and then the leadership of the Jesuits and the Pope, and then you've got your Protestant leadership, especially your Anglican Church. The Church of England is very closely connected to the Illuminati, but the Protestant leadership also, their leadership is controlled by the Illuminati, and so yeah, but if you read Alice Bailey's book, you'll see that there's the people that are really hardcore Christians or hardcore Muslims, or the conservative Jews. These people are going to be eliminated. So my guess is 20 years from now, you're not going to be able to see Protestant churches like this. When the economic crash comes, why, a lot of these big Protestant churches are going to go the way of the dodo bird, you know? They're not going to be able to pay their bills. Right now, some of these big churches are spending even tens of thousands of dollars every month on their buildings, you know? Well, they're not going to be doing that when the economy crashes.
No, you won't. And when you think, like, can you give us a time frame within when there's going to be the economy crashing and the aliens coming down? Like, time frame of works?
Well, the economy is going to crash before Obama leaves office. That's you can even see the plans, the steps that they're taking, the steps that the feds are taking, the steps that other countries are taking, and you can see we're really close. After when the U.S. dollar crashes, it's going to take a little while for things to totally fall apart and get really bad, and then we'll start in with a period where we've got inflation. You know, we've got really bad inflation. We're going to have unemployment. The inflation's going to be bad in Canada and the United States. The unemployment's going to be bad in both countries, and we'll go through that for a couple years, 2-3 years, before they hit us with something else. And so I'm thinking that, you know, and now I'm just entering into speculation, but I'm thinking, you know, we're not going to see the aliens come to help us out until we're really in deep doo-doo. And so that might be, you know, what, another 5-10 years? So, you know, now I'm just guesstimating 10-15 years maybe.
Okay, so we still have time before the end actually comes. We're not even there yet.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and you know, it's not over till the fat lady sings, so to speak. You know, God could throw a monkey wrench in things, and so the most important thing I think for all of us is to have faith, to move forward in hope, and not allow, live each day, day by day. Don't start trying to cross all these bridges that might happen, but focus on making the best out of each day. I mean, don't be stupid. Obviously it makes sense for everybody to have a supply of healthy food and healthy water stored. It makes sense to make some plans, but it's counterproductive to start letting it unravel you and depress a person and all the rest. Focus on
the good,
having a good life and doing good things and having a good day, day by day.
And not always focusing on the bad,
Exactly. That's where the Word of God says, if there be anything of good report, if there be anything noble, these are the kind of things that we want to think on.
Exactly. Well, for sure, because you can't always focus on the good stuff. On the bad stuff all the time, because it gets depressing. I know some people that just want the end of the world to come, like that they could have a better life, but I think it's not as simple as that.
Right. I think that's a really bad attitude, and it's one of the reasons why the world hates us, is they think that Christians, instead of contributing to help the world, are just praying for Armageddon to happen. So that's a very fatalistic, non-Christian way to do it. Christ left us here to do good things. He didn't save us so that we could just sit around and wait for the world to end. But we're to try to be the light of the world and help our fellow humans, and that's where what we should recognize, that God left us here to do positive things.
Well, yeah. Well, exactly. To God, 1 year. A day's like 1,000 years to Him. So we see time differently from Him.
Yeah, that's a good point. And he's got such a different perspective. But the only place that we really get in touch with eternity is in the here and now. The past is past, and the future can take care of itself. So if we want to really be in touch with God, we need to be in touch with the present. And so use the time that you have, people, to, don't get distracted by everything to where you don't have life and life abundantly, and enjoy your Creator and enjoy His love.
Exactly, for sure. But before ending the show, is there any final words you would like to tell us, to tell our viewers?
One thing that I would stress, because it's not preached about very often, but if you look in the Word of God, it says hope is a virtue. In other words, where I'm going with this is we oftentimes look at someone who's honest. Okay, honesty is a virtue. Being intelligent is a virtue. But having hope is also a virtue. And that needs to be pointed out to people. People, if you want to be virtuous, if you want to be Christ-like, move forward in hope. Don't let the world steal your hope. Don't let them beat you down. And get out there and do the positive things. Learn how to garden. Learn how to care for people. Learn how to do these things, these skills that we're going to need in the upcoming years.
Before we let you go, my final question is: what are your plans for the near future?
For the near future?
Like any books, videos, DVDs, movies,
Well,
anything?
Maybe over the next year and a half, I may be able to come out with another book. And I'm going to continue putting out powerful posts. One of the things when I write up an article that I post is I ask myself, will this really change the world? Will this really make a difference? I don't put out piddly stuff. I don't put out, you know, just everyday common stuff, but I put out pretty heavy-duty, hard-hitting material, as you know. And so I'm going to continue doing that, and I hope to continue taking care of my health. And
are you okay? Hopefully your health's all good.
Well, you know, I hurt myself last year doing landscaping.
Oh no, really? Where did you hurt yourself?
Well, I destroyed my left knee.
Oh gosh, the pain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's painful, and I need surgery. So, you know, I'm just like everybody else. I deal with similar problems just like everybody else. I get my share of real life. But I'm going to continue moving forward, trying to be a positive factor in all this and helping humanity as much as I can. And so that's my plans for the immediate future.
All right. Well, that's wonderful. Hopefully, the surgery will help you out.
Exactly. And also, while I have a chance, I want to thank you so much for inviting me on your show, Robert. And I hope that the show is well received and you get a lot of hits. And I know that you care about things, and I appreciate you and appreciate your love for the truth and the time that you put in doing this. And just, you know, we're all in this together.
We are all, yeah, exactly. We do this together for one common purpose.
Exactly.
You know, thank you very much, Fritz, for the compliments, for coming on my show. We appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely have you back on our show sometime in the future. And
love it.
And great, that's great. So I want to thank you for coming on the show, and we'll have you back on soon again. Thank you.
Thank you, Fritz.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Good night.
Well, that was a wonderful show tonight, wasn't it? Having Fritz Springmeier on the show tonight.
Yes, and that's his book, and lots of good information.
Yeah, and that's a book of world of information, which you can see here, The Bloodlines of the Illuminati by Fritz Springmeier, and it's 600 pages. It's like a Bible just on all the Illuminati. And as we've learned now, there's not 13 bloodlines, there are 7 bloodlines, folks. And you can view this show on YouTube tonight once it's recorded.
Yes, so be very exciting. I mean, I was just listening and enjoying the chat and doing what excites me, because there's nothing more that excites me than doing what I was doing tonight, listening to Fritz and on Chatango.
He's like my hero.
Yes, we know that.
We know that, yes. So hopefully, folks, you guys enjoyed the show out there. We'll see you next week on another edition of MNR Live TV. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Yes, if God willing, if He wants us back, we'll be back, and we'll be giving you more information, because that's what we like doing, giving you information so that you can be on the ball also. Thank you for watching, folks. You guys are the best. Don't you forget that.
All right.
All right, so sayonara. Good night.
Woo.